while I was looking at the history of the croissant, or the croissant as English people would say, instead of focusing on that, I've changed it to Austria and the Ottomans because it was quite interesting how uh, Austrian pastry was invented um, through stopping the Ottomans, and then the croissant looks similar to this. So I eventually read about how the croissant came about, but now we're looking at the Austrian pastry. The Austrian pastry is called Kipfel, or that's how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled like Kipfel. And according to many different sources that I've saw on the internet, and even I've heard from someone in a video, I can't remember who it was, and then even one imam that I've spoken to, he does allude to it. But they say the Kipfel originated in 1683 as a celebration of Austrian victory over the Ottomans at the Siege of Vienna. Basically, a baker was up in the morning making bread for the next day, and then that's when he heard the Turks tunneling underneath the city. And obviously, I don't think the Turkish people or anybody else, or even the Austrian people, would have been awake then. So that's why they obviously decided to go then. And he was the only person awake, so he realized, and he obviously let the other people know and prevented this. And then this pastry was made in celebration. And the shape of the Kipfel, it looks like a crescent, and that's to mimic the Ottoman flag, to kind of like say this is the day we stopped the Ottomans. So not only did they make a celebratory pastry, but they also shaped it in that shape to remind them that this is what we're celebrating. And this is how the Kipfel was made in Austria. And it's similar to a croissant, but obviously it has differences in it. But I'm not going to go into the differences, but it's interesting learning how the Kipfel, or some people say the Austrian croissant was invented. And it shows you just like the other curry dishes, or even other dishes, that no one really plans to make certain dishes. They just come about through different circumstances. Maybe some are because by accident, others are to satisfy certain palates, so you change ingredients. In this case, it was to celebrate stopping the Ottomans coming in. And then you have the Kipfel, and many people say the Kipfel is a kind of like inspiration behind the croissant in terms of the pastry and the taste and texture and the making behind it. Not necessarily the Ottomans, but maybe another time I will go to the history of the croissant. But today is more or less the history of the Austrian Kipfel.